Paano nga ba kami nagsimula sa aming apartment business? Pag-uusapan natin yan sa video na ito. Good morning mga tangay, good morning friends. Welcome back to our channel. But if you're new here, of course, I'm Janice and this is Prosper Simplify, where our dream, our goal is to be able to help our fellow OFWs maximize their time abroad so that they can retire on their own terms in the Philippines or elsewhere. So kung kayo po ay isang OFW, this channel is for you. And our dream talaga is to expand our community so that we OFWs can support each other, push each other, and encourage one another. That's our goal. If you are an OFW, please consider subscribing and sharing this with other OFWs so that they too can learn and we can all learn together. This video is part of our apartment business tips where we share our learnings, our mistakes, local and international best practices for landlords, no? Kayo po na OFW na landlord, so that you can up your game and grow your apartment or rental business. Now, ang video po na ito ay inspired by a question sent by 11-8. At ang sabi niya ay, gawa ka po ng sample budget plan for apartment and ilang years ka as OFW before mo na ipatayo. So, ang video po na to medyo story time or parang kwento, hindi na siya yung parang points and listahan. Para lang magkaroon po kayo ng idea sa konteksto ng aming apartment business. So, paano ba kami nagsimula? Nung tinanong ko yung husband ko kahapon kung paano nga ba kami nagsimula, ang sagot namin ay, nako, walang plano kami sa simula. So, nakakatawa naman pong isipin. Pero ang katotohanan ay wala po kahit anong plano. Nung nag-uumpisa kami, sorry po, nasira kasi yung mic namin. So, I hope the sound, the audio is still clear, no? But, nung nag-uumpisa pa lang kami as OFW, wala po talaga kami kahit na anong plano. So, you, as an OFW, if you're watching this and if you're already planning on building an apartment, expanding your investments, you are blessed, no? Kasi marami ng content ngayon about enriching yourself and investing as an OFW. But back in the day, nung kami pa lang, hindi pa ganun ka-popular yung ganitong concept, no? So, this was 2011. So, bigyan ko lang po kayo ng timeline. Ako po ay pumunta ng Dubai. First punta ko ay 2010, pero siguro I'll just reserve it for another video, no? 2010, and then bumalik ako ng 2011 ng, I think, June. And then I got my first job as a reporter with Coke News in August of 2011. So nakuha ko siya. Nag-start ako ng trabaho August 21, 2011. And then, dumating na yung husband ko from Saudi Arabia kasi ang husband ko ay nag-work as site engineer sa Saudi Arabia for almost 4 years. And then, nung nasa Dubai na ako, pumunta na siya ng Dubai ng October. And then, we got married in December 2011. Back then, kami po ay nakatira sa isang bed space. Isa po siyang flat na mayroong 4 na kwarto. Yung aming room na hall ay kinonvert into a room shared by 10 people. So, meron kaming 5 bunk beds, yung double deck, na naka-bed space kaming lahat. So, kaming mag-asawa nasa isang double deck kami. Sino nasa taas bed? Wala. Dalawa kami nasa single bed, naka-share. Honestly, hindi ko pa rin maisip hanggang ngayon kung paano kami nag-share ng isang single bed, ano? But we lived there for almost a year. And since we were living in a bed space, ang laki po ng aming natipid. So, I think, if I remember it right, ang aming monthly rent was only 1,650, and then I just pay 350 for my food. Kasi share po kami ng pagkain. So, you can just imagine, ang gastos lang namin for rent and food at that time was 2,000 dirhams. And dalawa kami combined income. So, initially, yung husband ko wala pa siyang work. But then, nung nakakuha na siya ng work, ang trabaho niya po ay nasa Ruways. So, ang uwian niya ay weekly lang siya umuwi. So, malaki po yung natipid namin during the first year of our married life, ano. So, if I remember it right, we were able to save, I think, 5,000 dirhams every month. And dahil nga ang liit ng aming expenses, although meron kaming family na sinusupport, meron akong sister na ako yung nagbabayad ng college assurance plan niya, no? I don't remember how it's called, but she's in Malaysia. So, meron kaming sinusupport na family. Pero malaki ang savings namin kasi matipid kami and hindi naman kami ganun kagastos. Ang gastos lang talaga namin yung mga extra na kain sa labas, yun yung pinakamalaking gastos namin. But back then, nakapag-save kami ng pang-down sa kotse. So yung first car was, I think, I asked the agent, no, sabi ko, how much is the biggest, or how much is the deposit that we can give, yung pinaka-maximum. And sabi niya, ay 20% yata, I don't remember, but we were able to pay, I think, 20,000 dirhams na deposit. And the car loan was 58,000 dirhams. Tapos sabi ko doon sa agent, magkano yung maximum na pwede kong ibayad para maliit lang or maiksing lang yung aming loan period. Ang sabi niya, we would pay 1,994 dirhams for 2 years per month. No, so per month for 2 years, sorry. So yun po, yung first few months namin, no, napunta sa kotse yung pera. September 2012, ang nangyari po ay ang aking asawa, every time uuwi siya ng bahay, siya po ay pinapapak ng surot. So, yung aming building ay talagang infested na ng bed bugs. So, kahit gaano kadami na yung chemicals na nilagay namin, nililinisan namin, etc. etc. No? Hindi talaga. And yung dugo ng asawa ko ay napakabango na pagkagaling niya from Ruiz, pag-upo niya pa lang doon sa bed, parang wala pang 30 minutes ay kinakagat na siya ng surot. So, yun po yung pinakadahilan kung bakit kami nag-move out doon sa aming bed space. Malaki yung tipid namin, pero mas gugustuhin ko naman na nakakatulog ng maayos ang asawa ko kaysa nakakatipid kami. Baka ikamatay ko ng asawa ko yung wala siyang tulog. Kasi nagda-drive siya from Dubai papuntang Ruiz. So, you can just imagine how long the drive is. Every early in the, parang 4 a.m. umaalis na siya ng bahay. So, nag-decide kami, lumipat kami sa isang flat. It's a 1-bedroom flat in Silicon Oasis. And medyo tumaas yung aming gastos kasi bumili kami syempre ng mga gamit and all. Karamihan nun ay second hand. Second hand karamihan ang binili namin. But of course, kailangan mo bumili ng ref, washing machine, and all that. So, medyo napalaki yung gastos namin. And yung monthly namin, medyo lumaki rin. Monthly expenses namin. Pagdating po ng February 2013, kami ay nagbakasyon sa Philippines. So, pagbakasyon namin sa Philippines, syempre, pagbakasyon, di ba, lalo na kung first vacation mo, mandinibre ka, and all that, nag-ilido kami, and all that. And then I remember, my husband and I went to a coffee shop at Robinson's Place. I can still remember where we sat. I can still remember what we were talking about. Tapos naisip namin, sabi namin, okay, so, ano kaya ang magandang business na gagawin natin na hindi tayo masyadong kailangan. For example, dahil nga nasa abroad kami at hindi namin kayang tutukan yung negosyo, ano kaya yung negosyo na pwede natin gawin na hindi tayo, kumbaga minimal supervision and kaya natin. Sabi namin, ang franchise kasi medyo madugo yan eh. Kailangan mo pa rin naman talaga ng tao and all that. Manpower, capital, and all. So, sabi ko, franchise mukhang hindi pa tayo pwede sa franchise. And then sabi namin, what do we have? Tinignan muna namin, ano yung meron tayo? Wala pa tayong malaking kapital, pero meron tayong lupa. So, that was the first thing that we looked at. Merong lupa yung husband ko na nabili niya while he was still working in Saudi Arabia. So, single pa siya nung nabili niya yun. I remember, yun yung kanyang first purchase ng lupa. Now, if you have questions on buying land, we have a full playlist po on our experience as OFWs, how to buy land, paano mo ba i-check, ano yung mga dapat mong i-check, at saka kung magkano yung mga babayaran. We have a playlist on that. I'll just link it on the card above so that you can watch it as well if you're an OFW planning to buy land. So, yun na po. Merong lupa yung husband ko. It's 450 square meters, which he bought. At that time, I think he bought it in 2010 for 410,000 or 400,000 pesos. Yung 450 square meters na lupa. Shucks, nagugulo pa ako. Okay, COVID brain. Yan. And then, sabi namin, okay, what do we have? We have land. So, pwede natin siyang i-utilize. Gawa tayo ng parentahan. So, naisip namin, sabi namin, malaki yung lupa, malaki yung pwede natin ilagay na apartment. So, sa isang tissue paper, nag-drawing po kaming mag-asawa, sabi namin, sige, gusto natin parang U. So, parang U siya kasi nga malaki yung lupa. Parking yung harap, and then meron parang garden sa gitna. Gusto ko talaga lagi may garden, ano? So, merong garden sa gitna para paglabas ng mga tenants, dun sila parang play area yung garden sa gitna. Dinrawing namin siya sa tissue, and I remember I posted it on Facebook, February 2013. At sabi ko, ito na po ba? Parang, Lord, kayo na bahala. I think that's what I said. And then, we just committed it to God. This was February 2013. Pagdating ng 2013, right after ng vacation namin, I think it was August of 2013, nagkaroon kami ng opportunity to buy land. So, yung pinsan ng husband ko, meron siyang magandang lote na nakita na nasa, ano lang siya, third lot from the main road. And then, malapit lang siya, as in, almost sa new city center na siya, no? So, 2013, naisip namin, sige, bilihin natin yung lupa. I don't remember, 2013 or 2014, basta around that time, meron kaming ready cash na kalahati. And then, naisip namin, sabi namin, okay, ang lupa ay 212 square meters, and then, ang amount na kailangan naming bayaran ay 450,000 pesos. At that time, meron kaming half of the money. And then, sabi namin, paano to? Sayang yung opportunity. So, mabuti na lang yung brother ng husband ko, meron ding pera. So, hiniram namin yung pera niya. So, nabuo namin 450,000 at binayad namin dun sa lupa na yon. Now, itong hiniram namin sa brother namin, binabayaran namin siya monthly. 6 months, I think, namin siya nabayaran. And then, at the end of yung last payment, nagdagdag ako ng 20,000 pesos. Kasi sabi ko nga, kung nasa bangko niya yon, or kasi I think nasa cooperative yung pera niya eh. Sabi namin, kung nandun yung pera mo, nag-gain siya. So, nagpasobra lang kami ng payment. So, that was when we bought land. Pagdating po ng 2014, ay nag-invite ang aming church, Faith Baptist International Church in Dubai, ng isang speaker para mag-seminar sa amin about the stock market. And that person is Marvin Hermo. So, at that time, maliliit pa yung mga talks niya, no? So, isang buong church kami, nasa isang hotel kami, and he talked about the stock market and investing in stocks. Initially, ako kasi negastar talaga ako. Sabi ko, stocks, gambling yan and all. And then, he refuted all that. So, napunta kami sa stocks, and then we decided that we would start investing in the stock market. At that time, ang sabi lang namin, long-term investors kami. Siyempre, nag-una kaming mag-invest sa Jollibee. That's our first stock that we held. And tuloy-tuloy na, every month we would allot 5,000 dirhams for the stocks, no? 2014. Pagdating ng 2015, doon na kami nagkaroon ng stock ng problema financially. Kasi I think at that time, kapag meron kaming purchases, ang ginagawa ko, ay magpapaservice kami ng sasakyan, mag-grocery ako, kini-credit card ko siya. Hindi ko naman siya nakikita as a problem kasi sabi ko, binabayaran naman namin. And then, to the point na sabi ko, oy, mas gusto kong malaki yung pinapasok natin ng pera sa stock market. Kaya, ipasok na lang natin yung cash natin, ipang stocks natin. Tapos, ika-card ko na lang yung iba. Until, kahit nababayaran namin siya, by December 2015, na-receive ko yung sulat from the bank na naka-earn na ako ng ganitong number of points. Na ang laki-laki na ng points na na-earn ko. And sabi ko, ganito na pala kalaki ang nagastos natin sa credit card and all. Kahit naman yung interest and all, hindi ko na masyadong kinompute. Kinompute ko, no? Kaya nakapag-decide kami na sabi namin, sige, close na natin yung credit card. And if you want me to talk in detail about it, I have an article. It's called Why I No Longer Have a Credit Card. It's with Coke News, no? If you want to read it. Or if you want me to talk more about it, I can. Just pop them in the comment section below. So, 2015, sabi namin, sige, close na natin yung credit card. And then, mag-start na tayo mag-build ng apartment. Kasi nga naman, sabi namin, kesa mapunta yung pera natin sa maling practice, like yung nabayaran namin interest sa credit card, ilagay na lang natin siya sa apartment. So, let's dive. At that time, intense talaga yung aming financial discipline. No? Very strict kami at that time. Kasi nga, nag-start na rin ako makinig kay Dave Ramsey. If you don't know him, he is a financial guru based in the States, no? And talagang yung advocacy niya is talagang tinakap ang credit card and all that. So, cash is king. Kumuha kami ng personal loan and we treated it as our mortgage December 2015 kasi nga sabi namin, instead na maubos lang yung time natin dito sa abroad na wala tayong kahit na ano pang napupundar na tangible, sabi namin, sige, kuha na lang tayo ng apartment. Bakit hindi namin i-cash? Kasi, nung time na yun nga, kami ay nagsisave at nagsistocks. So, mas gusto kong mapasok siya sa stocks and then sabi ko, wala naman tayong 2 million or 2.8 million agad-agad at ayaw naming maglabas ng kahit na anong pera. Sabi namin, hiramin na lang natin and then, bayaran na lang natin monthly. Pagkakuha po namin ng loan namin ng 2015, December, January 2016, nag-start na yung build. And then, October tapos na po siya, November 2016 ay nag-start na mapuno yung apartment. So, that was November 2016. Ito ngayon ay November 2021. We are now celebrating, by God's grace, 5 years into the apartment business. And I have a video after this. After this, our video is 5 years into the apartment business. Bawi na ba o hindi pa? I hope that you'll watch that next video. So, 5 years po, 2016, 2021. Gano'ng katagal kami nagbayad ng loan? Ang loan po namin, kinuha namin, ito na naman ako. So, sabi ko dun sa agent, ano yung shortest possible time at maximum loan amount na pwede namin ibayad monthly? Para, kasi ang akin ay ayoko nung matagal ang utang. So, pumayag sila sa 4,812 dirhams na monthly amortization over 4 years. So, tanda-tanda ko yan nasa salary account ko ay ang gagawin namin dahil ang payment ay 26th of the month. Sa Dubai po ay once a month lang nagbibigay ng sahod, which is at the end of the month. So, ang ginagawa namin, kung sumahod ako ngayong 30th, nakatabi na agad yung pangbayad namin sa loan by the 26th. So, nakatabi na yun, hindi na yung ginagalaw agad. At meron pa kaming ni-reserve na 10,000 dirhams na reserve fund for the personal loan, just in case lang na magkaroon ng problema sa bangko, meron kaming reserva. At that time kasi, syempre may mga companies na nade-delay ang sahod. I think I remember sa company namin, merong once or twice na na-delay ang sahod. And then meron ako mga office mates na due ang loan nila by the 30th. So sabi ko, bakit hihintayin nyo yung sahod? Dapat, yung beginning of the month pa lang, yung pambayad nyo sa loan nyo sa buwan na yan, nakatabi na. Hindi nyo isasabay sa sahod kasi magigipit talaga kayo. But anyway, mamaya i-share ko yung mga learnings natin. No? So, 4 years yung loan, but pagdating ng 2019, 3.5 years pa lang po ay pinay off na namin siya. Talagang siniro na namin siya. Hindi na namin hinintay na mag 4 years kasi May pa lang of 2019, nagbabalak na po akong mag-resign. So, 2019 ng May, ako nag-start mag-pray to leave work because of stress and pang ibang video na lang yun. Talagang na-burn out na po talaga ako after 8 years, more than 8 years sa work, and I really needed to rest. So, May 2019 and then October 2019 po ako nag-resign kasi sabi ko, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-resign na meron tayong loan. So, May 2019, pinay off na po namin siya. So, yun po key takeaways before I say goodbye. Key takeaways ay, number 1 is, I would like OFWs to dream again. To dream. Kasi most of the time, pupunta tayo sa abroad, wala talaga tayong concrete plan. wala tayong masyadong pangarap. Ang pangarap natin, pang family natin, di ba? Magpaaral, mag-support sa family, and all that. But then, what's your dream for yourself? What's your dream for yourself? What's your dream for your future? Sana po kasama kayo sa pangarap. At magsimula tayong mangarap ulit. So, as you progress, no, habang nagtatrabaho po kayo, pagtabihan nyo rin yung sarili nyo. So, if you want a rental property, that is a good investment. Because why? It will give you passive income. It's really a good investment, I think, no? And also, sabi nga ni Jim Rohn, I think it's Jim Rohn who said it, sabi niya, when you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. If you have no goal, then you will not be able to hit anything. So, I hope that you will dream again. And dun sa nag-leave ng comment, I think, isa sa mga kabayan natin, sabi niya, nabuhayan ako ng loob para mangarap ulit. I'll just put it here, no? Natutuwa ako every time merong mga kagaya nyo, ng OFWs na nagko-comment na, wow, ito yung pangarap namin. So, dream din namin magpatayo ng apartment. Why not, no? While you're dreaming, start working on it as well. And don't put your dreams in the back burner. Always put it ahead of you. Gawin nyo siyang vision board para mas nakikita nyo. And ang mistake namin is yung tissue na pinag-drawingan namin, hindi na namin siya binalikan. Binalikan na lang namin siya after a few years. But no, always be on fire when you have a dream. It's always best to remind yourself of your goals para mas madali nyo siyang maabot. Sa amin, it took us a while. But since you're watching this, I challenge you, kailangan talaga tutukan nyo ang pangarap nyo. Kasi walang ibang gagawa ng kundi kayo. When opportunity comes, talagang seize it. So, kapag may opportunity ka na bumili ng lupa para sa apartment mo, by the way, we have a video on ano ba yung lupa na pinakamaganda para sa isang apartment. And if you haven't seen that yet, I'll put it here on the link above. So, pag may opportunity ka to buy good land, bilhin mo na. Pag-ipunan mo na. And it's always best to have cash on hand na nagtatabi ka talaga ng lupa, ng pera, para kapag ka nagkaroon ka ng opportunity na bumili ng lupa, aba, may pambili ka. Lalo na ngayong pandemic, napakaraming nagbebenta ng lupa. At it's really a good investment. Kasi pag nabili mo na yung lupa, kahit anong tayo mo dyan, it's really a good investment. And pangatlo, when you are borrowing money to build your apartment, always think of paying the maximum amount monthly na kaya ng budget nyo and the shortest period na pagbabayad. Bakit ko sinasabi ito? Kasi merong mga kumukuha ng mga pag-ibig loan na mga 30 years, 25 years, 10 years, napakatagal po. Bakit ako against sa mga loan na napakatagal? Kasi po, kahit maliit yung monthly mo, sabi mo, ito lang yung kaya ko eh. Pero pag kinumpute mo yung number of years na nagbayad ka, napakalaki ng iyong binayarang interest. No? So sa amin, ang lagi kong ginagawa, for example, yung car loan namin, ay 2 years lang namin binayaran, nag-down pa kami ng 20,000. At nung pagkakita ko ng list, yung list no, from the bank, ang naging profit lang ng bangko sa akin ay 1,500 dirhams. Actually, halos hindi nga siya ma-approve eh. Ang tagal niyang na-approve. Nang nakita ko yung total profit ng bangko, sabi ko, oy, kaya pala siguro kasi ang liit lang talaga na naging profit sa amin. And even yung isa namin kotse na binili, shortest possible time, maximum na bayad, para maliit lang din yung income nila sa amin. So, yun po ang may iwan ko sa inyo. If you're going to save for your apartment build, sa amin hindi siya naging possible kasi yun nga, nagsa-stocks kami and we were putting money somewhere else. And then I also asked 2 of my colleagues. Yung isa kong colleague nag-loan para sa kanyang bahay. Yung isa ko namang colleague ay based lang sa savings niya every month yung kanyang pagpapatayo. So, tinanong ko, kamusta yung experience nyo? Yung nag-loan para sa kanyang bahay, natapos niya agad. Yung office mate ko naman na depende lang sa savings niya, medyo natagalan yung kanyang pag-build. And sa amin po, dahil apartment business siya, kailangan matapos mo siya agad para nag-earn ka na. So, yun yung naging choice namin. Naghiram kami. And then, monthly naman, nag-earn kami. Siguro, teka lang, i-check ko ha. Kasi ang monthly namin then was 4,812. Okay. So, ang monthly payment po namin ay 4,812 dirhams, which is equivalent to 66,000 pesos. Pero, ang aming income sa apartment ay half. Almost, more than half nitong aming monthly amortization. So, okay naman siya. And, pag-uusapan natin sa next video kung bawi na ba kami or hindi pa. Kung bawi na, kamusta ang negosyo, kung hindi pa, kailan kami makakabawi. I hope that you would watch that video. Pasensya na medyo mahaba ang video na ito dahil kwento siya. But I hope that you found value in this video. And if you did, please click the like button because this will help us a lot. And if you have friends who are thinking of starting an apartment business, please share this with them so that you too can learn from it. And before I say goodbye, gusto ko pong magpasalamat sa lahat ng mga nag-leave ng comments sa aming previous video where we shared our COVID-19 experience and mistakes and learnings. Napaka-importante po ng video na yun para sa akin. So if you haven't watched it yet at meron kayong agam-agam when it comes to getting vaccinated, please watch that video. Thank you to everyone, Irisa and si Jeff and everyone who left comments, really meaningful comments, and who prayed and sent their well wishes to us. Maraming salamat po. This means a lot to us. Our small community, our community may be small, but you're all important to us. So thank you very much for spending time with me. Leave your questions below and I'll try to answer them. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!